I don't know where you are in life right now or where it is you want to go. But if you are a curious soul like me, I know this about you. You are searching for greatness in life. You desire financial freedom, and you ask yourself daily how you can master success in business without wasting years of your life. On this show, we're going to interview all the leading experts and influencers in the fields of marketing, mindset, and sales to expose all the tips and tricks you need to accelerate your business and amplify your success. My name is Reem Kharbat, and this is the Entrepreneur Accelerator. Hey there, Reem is here. As entrepreneurs and small business owners, we're all navigating our way through COVID-19 pandemic. And, we're making decisions that we don't know how it will turn out. We're taking risks and showing up in ways we have never done before. And with that, some questions, continue to pop up about selling. How should I sell during this crisis? Should I discount or give my services away for free? So in today's episode, we're going to tackle these questions because my guest, Jas Takhar, has been in the sales and service industry for over 25 years. And soon after deciding to try his hand in the real estate, he co-founded the REC. And in the course of 15 years, he has successfully propelled his team to the first place position in Canada under Royal LePage. A fellow podcaster of the REC experience, the author of Real Estate Intelligence, and a motivator with a hope to provide inspiring content to aid others in removing the friction for their own life in order to help them get from where they are to where they want to be. Welcome, Jas. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing, Reem. Thank you so much for having me on and going through and saying such kind words. It's almost like I wrote you a check to say those things about me. So I really, really appreciate it. I never get used to hearing about all the stuff that I've done in my life. It's gone quite quickly because I think it's very important when you're living in your passion. Time starts to go by really quickly. Like even during this COVID time, I think it was like we're here in Canada, specifically Toronto, where I'm based out of. We've been in lockdown now for about 6 weeks or so. The first 2 days, it felt like 2 years. The last, five and a half weeks have gone by like it's been 2 days. Because I've, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I've been able to make sure my team is staying motivated. They're staying inspired. But thank you so much for having me on, and congratulations. First and foremost, actually, congratulations on all your success with this podcast.
Thank you.
I know you're one of the top podcasters in the entrepreneurial segment, and just a huge congrats and kudos. Keep doing what you're doing. We need more people like yourself spreading optimism and putting out positive vibes in the world. So, I'm not sure if you hear it a lot, or you probably do, but I wanted to say thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Seriously. I'm really happy, first of all, to get to know you, especially that these days, you said you've been like 6 weeks in the lockdown. I've been in the lockdown for 2 months and I'm about to go crazy, but, getting the chance to speak to people like you. And as you said, also getting the chance to be motivated by people like you is just amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm super happy, seriously, to have you here. You're in Canada, I'm in Saudi Arabia, and we're connected in here. We're trying to do our best to serve our customers, to serve our employees and our listeners at the same time. And
100%. Reem, like, to that point, not to cut you off, but like it really starts with the mindset, right? At some point, I don't know when it happened for you during the last 2 months, you decided, and maybe subconsciously or consciously, you decided that you're going to take this time and expand not necessarily expand from a monetary perspective, like you were going to make more money, but maybe it was just about, I'm going to expand my network and connect with a good looking guy from Canada. I don't know, maybe that's what it was, or maybe not, or maybe it
Yeah.
was, you know what, I'm going to, all joking aside, but I'm going to expand my ability to get out to more listeners. And you're going to expand the mind, that area between the ears, and where some people are watching or listening to this, and they're very fearful and very concerned, with good, like for good measure they should be, and they and who are you and I to say that they shouldn't be? But however, I do hope somebody who's watching or listening understands that it's really up to you. You're right either way. If you think that you can expand and possibly take advantage of certain opportunities right now in a positive way, then you can. But if you're thinking that you're very fearful and everything's going to go wrong, so now you're thinking about contracting, not expanding, you're right either way. You know, someone like myself and Reem, we want to get out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
I like to look at it as a blessing in disguise. If COVID didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have as much time. I have two little kids, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. I wouldn't get as much time with them. I wouldn't get as much time with my wife. I wouldn't get to meet you, because chances
Absolutely.
are the universe wouldn't have connected us right now. You know, like an email went out and we just
Absolutely.
got connected at the right time.
Absolutely. I love this. Seriously, you've said everything that I have in mind. Actually, especially that during this period, some people would like just spend it, being panicked. And I always said that, panic, it's the industry of fear that tyrants used to use before to control the mass. It makes you paralyzed. You don't know how to think. And when fear controls your brain, you cannot take the proper action. And this is exactly what you're saying. For me also is being grateful and having the opportunity, the opportunity mindset is what's going to help you pull off 6 weeks of lockdown, or even 2 months, or even more. So
I
I love
couldn't have
what you
said it
said.
any I couldn't have said it any better than you did, because in actuality, you said the two words that were really going through my mind as you were speaking about fearfulness. Um, the brain can't handle you being fearful and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. One feeling is going to overpower the other. So some people say, well, I'm fearful. How do I get over it? Be
Yeah,
grateful. Sit back.
exactly.
What are you happy about right now, or what are you grateful about right now? And I hear it all the time. Well, nothing. Okay, I understand. Well, Reem, if you had something to be grateful for, what could that be? What would that look like, are you grateful for the fact that, if you don't have family, if you don't have friends, if you don't have a job, I mean, those are all real things. Are you grateful for the fact that you're breathing? Like, if we have to take it to that extent, we need to start somewhere and feel those feelings of being grateful, because what happens is the right people start coming into your life, and the right opportunities start coming into your life when you're grateful, when you're putting out those vibrations, because positive attracts positive. We know this. We learned this when we were kids in school, magnetics,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
positive attracts
yeah,
like. It's just the same type of, it's the same thing when you're sending out those vibrations. The unfortunate part is that if you're sending out negative vibrations, the universe doesn't know what to give back. It doesn't know, it can't differentiate between a positive vibration and a negative vibration. It gives
yeah.
you back what you're putting out. So be very, very conscious of the thoughts that you're having in your mind, because those thoughts become actions.
I love it. I love it. I love you. I have goosebumps,
Thank you.
seriously, listening to you. And um, we spoke about all this, but before, I would love my listeners to know more about you. Who is Jas
Sure.
Takhar? Like, what do you
Um,
do?
I'm a local Toronto entrepreneur and real estate broker. For anybody who's listening, obviously outside of my country of Canada, Toronto, and we have a location called Greater Toronto Area. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
75-kilometer radius, 50-mile radius, that I have a team of real estate agents 25 of them to be exact, with a business partner. Him and I have been together for coming up to about 15 years. And each of my realtors covers a certain area with helping people buying a home, buying a condo, selling a home, or what I primarily focus my personal business on is I work with investors. And so
Mm.
we've helped last year in 2019, and thank you for mentioning it earlier, Reem, we helped a little over 700 buyers, sellers, and investors, which placed us number one in the country of Canada for the organization, or the country's largest organization, Royal LePage, which consists of 18,000 realtors, real estate agents. And so very, very proud. I mean, the team works very, very hard on a daily basis. There's 25 real estate agents, and then I manage and really, it's kind of my core team of 10 support staff. And so I produce a lot of content. I produce about 25, I'm going to say about 20 to 25 pieces of content a day on all the
Wow.
platforms. I've had a podcast for a couple of years. Thank you for mentioning that. We are fellow podcasters.
BFFs.
BFFs, yes, exactly. I love that now. That's for sure. I mean, we're kindred souls, and we can just tell the energy that comes off of this video. I hope the viewers and listeners feel it. I've had a podcast for a little over 2 years. Coming up, just I think about 101 or 102 episodes. I talk to real estate
Mm.
people, entrepreneurs, and people in leadership, and it's been the best thing I ever did. I mean, as you know, I mean, you do this as a passion. You do this to put to bring people on as guests, and hopefully one of your viewers or listeners learns something. We don't get paid for this. Anyways, I
I
don't.
know.
Anyways, it's complete passion. In fact, anybody around me that's known me for a while, they think I'm one of the craziest people around, because they're like, why do you put so much time into it? Because I
Mm.
love it. And
Mm.
I used to say I would do it for free, and then it's like, well, I have been doing it for free. And what's
Mm.
happened, but while I've been doing that for the last 2 years, I've met some of the coolest people. My business has skyrocketed because I just met more people.
Yes.
Look at this. I'm speaking to Reem, and she's in Saudi Arabia, and I'm in Toronto. Like, where
Yes.
my life has taken me is incredible. I'm very blessed, very grateful. But yeah, I just quickly kind of coming back full circle to your question. I don't have a formal education. I just squeaked by high school. I loved
Wow.
school. I loved school, but I could not stand class. Like, I couldn't sit in class.
Mm.
As you see me now, I'm very animated. I
Yeah.
like to move around. This is probably the longest anybody will see me sit down, is doing a podcast. I like to move around a lot. And so in school, that didn't go well with the teachers, right? They need you to be
Mm.
very in a formation, and I understandably so. And I think we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need engineers, we need people to go to school. That's very important. Anybody who's watching or listening, it just wasn't for me. And I didn't learn that way. And so once I got out of high school, I knew I needed personal education. And what I mean by that is that I learned through books, audiobooks,
Mm.
seminars. I learned through mentors. That's
Mm.
how I learned. And I was the kid, before high school, 12 years old, had a paper route. I learned that if I got more paper routes and gave them to other kids, they could do the papers, they could deliver the papers for me, but then I'll take a little cut out of it because I was the one who was brokering the deal. So at the
Yeah.
age of 12, it started clicking in for me. Then I started selling shoes in a shoe department for 3 years.
Wow.
Then I went to the bank, and I was working with mortgages and loans and lines of credits for 3 years. Then I started selling luxury cars for 3 years. And then it's been 15 years that I've been doing real estate. So sales and service was always something I was going to do. It really, truly, truly is one of my purposes in this world. It's supposed, like, I'm not really that good at selling, believe it or not. And this is kind of my
Mm.
macro thought. What I have figured out over the 25 years, Reem, is that I make it easy for people to buy. So I
Oh,
don't
wow.
get in the way. I'm not a pushy salesperson. If you ask my
Yeah.
thousands of clients, of anybody who bought a paper from me, to shoes, to a mortgage or a loan, to a car, to a house, I think they'll all say the same thing. He never pushed us. He never
Mm.
pushed us. But he was really good in making it easy for us to buy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree, you know, Jas, because I think that selling is one of the hardest, I don't want to say jobs, but let's say tasks that every entrepreneur hate this this task, which is selling. There are many people who are very smart, they have great offers, but they don't even sell because they don't want to seem like they're pushing someone, exactly what you're saying. And I don't know, is this a skill or is it something that can be teachable? Like, how did
I
you
think it's a
develop?
mixture of both. Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
question. Great question, Reem. I think it's a mixture of both. Is it built in? Well, look, let me start with this. I think selling is built in everybody since the day we're born. Because if you look at a kid, I got a 4-year and a 6-year-old, 4-year and a 6-year-old. My 4-year-old is probably one of the best salespeople I've ever come around because he won't take
Yeah.
no for an answer. He will not take no. My 6-year-old was the same. My nieces are the same. Like we all did it. You did it with your parents. You know, they said no, you said yes. And you tried to get what you
Yeah.
wanted. You might have cried and screamed like my boys do sometimes and like I did. You always push the envelope. So I think it's sales is built in all of us because as a kid we had to sell what we wanted to get.
True. So
Now
true.
that might make you good or might that's kind of at the basic level. To fully answer your question, when as I said that it's both, it could be learned because you know as probably as somebody when I started out at 12, 13, I tried to sell a lot,
Mm.
like you should buy this paper and this paper is the best and I'm going to drop it off at 6 a.m. in the morning and you're going to get like, but when I learned after was I built more rapport with people, meaning that when I was walking into somebody's house, like about to knock on their door, I never really talked about the paper. I tried to talk about the car that they had in their driveway. I tried to talk about the roses or the flowers they had in the front of the house or the color of their door. I tried to talk about something else. I still do it till this day. I talk about anything and everything except about the product or the service that I was trying
Yeah.
to provide. Why? Because Reem, like you and I now, you and I are starting to get connected on a different level, okay? Whatever you have as a product or service or whatever I have as a product or service, chances are, because I like you and I trust you, I'm starting to trust you, I'm going to be like, yeah, Reem, whatever. Yeah, sure. It sounds like you know what you're talking about. It doesn't look like you're going to hurt me. You sound like, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to rip me off. I'll do business with you. And so I think it comes down to both where it's built in us, it's in our DNA, but you can learn certain skills. For example, not talking a lot when you're selling, ask more questions.
Yeah,
We
that's
got
true.
2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Try to listen more than you speak, right? A lot of salespeople just talk about the product, like look at like in real estate, they still do this. Like, Reem, let me show you the kitchen and look at the granite countertops and the cat. Look, what is Reem, an idiot? She knows what a kitchen looks
Yeah.
like. You don't need to tell her. How about you ask her? How about you tell her if she has any questions? You know,
Mm.
you're there to answer them. So even now, when I show a house or show a condo, I tell, if it was you and I, Reem, I would say, Reem, look, I'm gonna open the door here. You go walk around. I'm gonna sit on the couch. I'm there to answer any questions because the truth of the matter is, you and your husband are gonna live here, not me. I might come over for a party here and there, but that's it. You need to know if this is something that you want. And if you don't want it, you're not hurting my feelings. Let's get out of here and let's go see the other
Mm.
ones that are available. Let's not waste time. What I know that does to people, because they might start off like this, like Reem's thinking she's
Yeah.
gonna talking to a salesperson, but then she opens up over time. But that takes a little
Yeah.
bit of time.
Yeah. So it's like you are selling them how they feel when they live there, for example. Not you're not selling them the condo itself. Like you're selling them
Yeah.
how they will feel when they live there, or like
That's
um
yeah, yeah. So I'll take them around and say, look, so when if they walk into the master bedroom, so say it's a 3-bedroom house. When they go to the master bedroom, I go to the other bedroom to open. I turn on all the lights. I just
mm,
want you, Reem, you and your husband to become. Is this something that you even
yeah,
like? Like, what do you feel? You'll know.
yeah,
15 years of real estate. I don't think I've been wrong. I tell all my buyers, investing in real estate's different. That's a totally different thought process. It's because there's no emotions. It's all about the numbers, which is great. But when somebody's going to live in a home, I don't think I've ever been wrong. I've told them, I go, in the first 3 minutes, you're going to know. You're going to know. You're going to know if this is the house that you want to live in
Yeah.
the next 5, 10 years. Or you're going to walk in and say, oh, I hate this. Let's get out of here. And in the first 3 minutes, you're going to know.
Awesome. Jas, since you already have this mindset and the experience in sales for almost all your all your life, um, people, especially entrepreneurs now during these days, with the pandemic and the losing customers, the losing
Yeah.
revenues, and they're afraid already. Those people who are already afraid of selling, and when they feel like maybe we should not be selling during this time, we don't want to sound greedy, we don't want people, they need more. Although I'm in favor of showing empathy and support with people now over the grand scheme of selling, but at the same time, we as entrepreneurs or business owners, we also have employees to pay for their jobs, to keep them
Yeah.
on their jobs.
I,
We have families to feed. So, but at the same time, how can you tell other people is it okay to sell these days?
Look, I think every product or service that you have it depends on what product and service that you have, right? And so, for example, real estate. Some people need to sell their real estate, and so that's a service that I provide because they already bought a house pre-COVID. And then there's people who
Yeah.
need to buy a house because they sold the house pre-COVID. So that's another service I provide. As I mentioned, that I work with a lot of investors. Times like this, like what happens is you get some compelling opportunities. Like they start to present themselves as an investor. So that's also another service I provide. But for everyone else that's watching or listening, saying, yeah, like I'm scared to sell, I think the first thing you do is serve. And what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
that is that serve people. Because whatever business you're in, you generally speaking, you need people. You need people's attention. And when you start to think about serving people, seeing how you can help, you're going to build out. You need to have patience, but you're going to build out your network that much
Exactly.
more. So it starts with, in my opinion, you mentioned some words like empathy. Yes, 100,000%. There's not a better word that I can use. But tactically speaking, I think, what we did, I said 6 weeks we've been in lockdown. For the first full week, I called all my clients that did
Yeah.
transactions with me in the last 5 years. And I called and said, Reem, I'm just calling you. Do you need anything? Do you need me to pick up groceries for you? Does your neighbor need us to pick up groceries? Because maybe you have an elderly neighbor and they're scared to leave. I did that for the first week. Then I started reaching out again, asking if they needed anything. 98%, 99% of people said, no, we're fine. They were asking about me. How are you doing? How's your team doing? But then I said, look, if you have capital, like if you have cash and you were that you don't need because you still have a job and you're comfortable, you might want to look at some investment opportunities. Because what I've learned in 15 years, twice we've been through it, really once in 2009, significantly, where the market dipped. And at that time, when people came out of that dip in the market, whoever bought made a lot of money. So I
Mm.
know that as an investor, if you look at certain opportunities like today, right now, at the time of this recording, we're in, April 21st, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's some very compelling buying opportunities in our country anyways. And you would only look at that if you have your job and you have extra cash that you can spend. If you've lost your job or you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person speaking to somebody who's lost their job, you don't sell to them because like, what are they
Mm.
going to buy? Don't hurt anybody.
Mm.
I have no patience for anybody who's out to take advantage of people. The job that us business people have right now is to sort, not convince. So what I
Yeah.
mean by that is you want to sort for people that might be able to purchase or use your service. Don't convince people. In fact, it doesn't matter what market you're in. If you want the secret sauce, it's always sorting, because you need to go through a lot of the no's to get the yes. I've
Yeah.
heard more no's in my life than anything, but it's the few yeses that I've heard that have changed my life. And so I want people to really understand that if you're in sales, you're in service, you're an entrepreneur, now is the time to just sort. So I normally needed to meet with 10 people, and they would either buy or sell or invest with me. Pre-COVID. Within COVID, my numbers are 22 people. So every 22 people that I have like a virtual conversation with, they'll buy, sell, or invest. So I have to double the amount of people. So it's just more work. You just got to work a little bit harder.
Awesome. Jas, I'm about to launch my book, which is called Pull Your Shift Together. And in there,
Congratulations. I
thank you so
love that.
much.
Yeah.
And it's exactly, like seriously, you said one of the points that I mentioned, and which is, if you want to help yourself and shift to your business during such challenging times or a crisis like this, and crisis comes in different forms, by the way. It's not just COVID-19. It might be, a recession. You might be just kicked, like me. I was kicked out of my job when I was like at the top of my game. So crisis comes in different forms. But if you want to pull your shit together
Shit
and
together. I love it.
make a shift in your life and in your business, especially in business, you need, as you said exactly, you need to go back and connect with your existing clients and network with more people. You need to build your network more, because at the end, we're human beings. We love to feel taking like we're taken care of. When you go and check on all your existing clients and talk to them, and as you exactly said, just tell them if you need anything, show them that you care about them. Even if you do not have immediate sales or results, trust me, you're gonna get more sales in the near future when things are just going back to normal. So just do
I,
it anyways.
I love it. I love how you ended that, Reem, because at the end of the day, specifically with COVID, no one knows. Is this a week away that we're going to get
Yeah.
out of lockdown, a month, or maybe can it really be longer than a year? I highly doubt it. I'm going to bank that it's not going to be longer than a year, because I think there'll be a vaccine by then and we'll all be
Yeah.
fine. If you can weather this storm, just have patience. Just have patience for the results, but in your daily implementation of tasks, do that with speed, because the
Yeah.
universe loves speed, and the opportunities are going to come a lot quicker if you do the daily tasks with speed. So what do I mean? Like, there's people who want to produce content, for example, like on Facebook, Instagram, or video, YouTube. But before they produce something, and I understand, I really do, but before they shoot a video, they got to make sure the hair is good, the makeup's good, the t-shirt's good, right? Okay, so let me help you with this, for example. Okay,
Please.
got it. Just get over it. Pull your
How?
shit together. Pull your
Hey,
shit
but
together. I'll
again,
tell you.
listen. Seriously,
Yeah.
no. Aside, guys. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have to talk about this because it's
Good.
not this paralysis. It's not just in me. I see it in a lot of people around me as well,
100%. So
which is trying to. If you're a perfectionist, although I'm not, I try, but sometimes that's why maybe I prefer podcasting, because I don't have to like look at my best or like look
that's what I love.
good.
That's what I love. So that's what I was going to say. So I have a book coming out, and it's similar. It's called Removing Friction, and it's called Get the Bleep Out of Your Own Way. Okay? So it's
Hmm.
about what we're talking about
Cool.
now. Okay? So get out of your own way. So what I love what you said there is that's why you prefer podcasting. So now you're getting out of your own way. So some people are like, okay, I need to shoot video. I need to shoot video. No, you don't. That's not the only way people consume information. In fact, we watch things, we listen to things,
True.
read. So those are the three ways that we consume content. So if you're not a natural at video, or it's going to take you a while to get everything set up
Yeah.
and do all that, what I would say is do a podcast. And you don't need to do a Zoom video. You could just do literally, you can record into a headset and you can go out to the world. And guess what? It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's just say somebody would say, well, then I don't want anybody, like I'm not comfortable with my voice. Great. The third way that we consume content is through the written word. There's a great website. It's called medium.com. There's 150 million users on medium.com. It's kind of like the go-to place for blogs, the way that YouTube is for videos. So that's another way. Nobody's going to see you. Nobody's going to hear you. Okay. And so now putting yourself out there, you can do it from different mediums. What I would want people to understand is do what comes natural. Don't be so hard pressed that you have to do video, because then you'll get stuck. And it's not you, Reem, because you did an amazing job that you transitioned and you pivoted and said, okay, I'm not going to do video. I'm going to do audio and I'm going to do a podcast. And you started producing content. The reason you want to produce content is, and the reason you need to, for any entrepreneur I'm speaking to here, like unless you're not wanting to do this anymore because you're going to be retired in the next 5 years. And I'm not talking about retired because you're going to make so much money. I'm talking because you're really, really old and you're not going to stop doing business anymore.
Yeah.
Then don't worry about producing content. But if you're in this business and you're going to be staying in this business, you need to produce content digitally, because that's where everyone is. That's what everyone is. Everyone's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, medium.com. There's 10 or 11 places. You have to be there. Otherwise, you're just going to get lost and you're going to get left behind. Now, once you understand that, then you need to figure out and find out where you're going to be. What are you most natural at? What's going to come easy for you? Because for me, video didn't come easy at the start. I'd like you, Reem, I started a podcast first. And then I had some video. And then after, I personally just fell in love with it. Now I have 3 cameras around me at all times. COVID doesn't allow for it, but usually I have 3-4 cameras on at all times, because I know the importance of producing content in all different mediums. But I want people to just start at one place.
Yeah.
And then I always hear like, well, what am I going to talk about? Talk about anything. Reem and I are talking to entrepreneurs, and I'm talking about real estate. But if you like root beer, like my favorite pop, I don't like Coke or ginger ale. Like I drink them once in a while, but if I ever want something like, and I'm thirsty for a pop, it's root beer that I really want. And so talk about root beer. You like football? Talk about football. Doesn't matter what business you're in. Because what I've come to learn, guys, is that, guys and gals that are listening, I want you to understand that what I've come to learn is that when you talk about whatever you're passionate about, it comes easy for you. You don't need a script. You don't need anything. You're just going to speak. Even if you're talking about root beer, but you sell insurance, you know what's going to happen? Whoever watches you is going to be like, this girl or this guy can't just be talking about root beer his whole life or her whole life. What else do? They do what I call a digital deep dive. They start to Google you. They look at your other social profile, and they're like, you're in insurance. I like how you talk about root beer. We're connected. Let's do business. That's what
true.
really, really happens.
You attract your tribe. And this is exactly why,
tribe.
Like when you have your voice out, and simply people who will resonate with you, with your values, with what you stand for, they will definitely come for you. You don't have even to look for customers or to look for people to you don't have to follow them. They will come to you and they will follow you, or even buy from you, or whatever you do. Like, it's
and then
awesome.
they introduce you people like that too. They introduce you to people like that as well. Because generally we all hang out with the same people. Sorry?
Exactly. Yeah. I love that we're talking about that. Like, it's not just purely sales, because I said sometimes the concept of just selling is a little bit stressful for entrepreneur. And as I said, in this period in specific, it's stressful. People just sometimes they blame themselves, they feel guilty if they want to sell, but at the same time, as we said, you can help. You can just, you don't have to sell, just show up, produce content, and educate. Exactly.
Meet people. Yes.
You said you produce 25 piece of content every day. This is what you
20 to
said.
25 pieces of content a
How?
day. Yeah. So, well, everything is content to me, and everything is a reproduction of content. So, what do I mean by that? So, any Zoom call that I'm on, so after you and I are done this, and whenever you feel like you're okay to give me the recording, let's just say you are. If you're not, that's okay as well. But let's just say you said, Jas, here's the recording, here's the video. I'm gonna take out 7 or 8 different pieces of content from the video of this. I'm gonna also take, and then I'm gonna put that on audio. And then I'm going to have a couple of images of me with quotes that I said. So I said, I don't know, removing friction, get the F out of your own way. That will be a picture of me with a quote. I'll do 3, 4 of those. And then I'll write a blog on this whole conversation. But then out of the blog, I'll take 2, 3 different paragraphs and just put that on Instagram and put that on LinkedIn and put that on Facebook, just the writing. So I got how many just from just this conversation, and I think we've been going for, I don't even know how long. It feels like 5 minutes. It's gone by so quickly with you,
I
but
love that.
I will get at least 15 pieces of content just out of this conversation. And so what I do
Awesome.
is I take content and then reproduce it as much as I possibly can,
Yeah.
because I just want to have, I more is more when it's in content. You know, there's a saying that in certain things less is more. Like when real estate, when we're staging homes, we say, okay, less is more, put less out there so then it shows the home is bigger. In content, more is more. You can't do enough. In me doing 20 to 25 a day, I want to get to 100. And that's my
Wow.
goal, because I just believe the more that I put out there, the more feedback I get from the marketplace to tell me what was good, what wasn't good. Then I can make that change the next time I do it. But then I can also meet more people, right? And so
Mm,
it's why I'm sitting with you, because I wouldn't have been able to tell you, like, if I didn't produce as much content as I produced, you might not want me on as a guest because you didn't really know what I was up to, right?
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
one thing leads to another, and that's what I wanted to say to somebody who's sitting right now and wondering what they can do. It's time for you to possibly strategize. How can you meet people? I know we can't physically meet people right now, but there's ways we can digitally meet people. What business are you in? So if you're in insurance, and I'm not trying to pick on the insurance industry today, but the first name that came to my head. If you're insurance, maybe get on a mortgage broker. Why don't you send an email to your clients and say, tonight at 7 p.m., grab yourself a coffee, a tea, or a glass of wine, and I'm going to have my friend Reem, the mortgage broker on, the mortgage advisor on. She's going to talk about the importance of what you should do with your interest rate. And then tomorrow at 7 p.m., the same time, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab a glass of water and a glass of wine. I'm going to have Jas, the real estate agent, on. He's going to tell you why you shouldn't sell your house right now during COVID. Then the next day, and it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And send that email out to people, all your clients. Give them a place to come to. And then you ask them to invite their friends and family, because they're scared. They're wondering what to do. What should I do with my insurance? What should I do with my mortgage? Even though if you're in the insurance business, educate them about something totally different. Totally different, because then they're going to tell their friends, oh my God, you should see what my insurance advisor Reem does for me. She introduces me to so many people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely
The,
awesome.
the
I love
ideas are
that.
endless. The ideas are endless.
Yes, yes. Seriously, I think with you we have to have more than one episode. That's why you have a show.
I
Guys,
appreciate.
you seriously have to you seriously have to check his podcast. I mean, if you are like that
Thank you.
every time, then I'm sure that like you're on fire. You put people
Thank
on
you.
fire. You put me on fire. I don't know what like it's almost now 9 p.m. in here and I feel like I just had a Red Bull and
That's
I'm
awesome.
ready to rock and roll the
Thank you.
day. So
Thank you for that.
I'm so happy. Seriously, time flies with you, honestly. And if people want to get to know more about you, so we know that you have a podcast. Yeah, I'm sure it's an
Yeah.
amazing podcast.
Thank you.
And if people want to get to know more about you, about what you do, where can they find you?
The easiest place to go to is jastakhar.ca. That's JASTAKHAR.ca. And the reason I say that's the easiest place to go to, because it's a one-page landing page, call it,
Yeah.
a one-pager that just shows you all the ways you can consume my content. So anybody watching or listening, you could choose. Do you want to see my face? You want to hear me through the podcast, or do you want to read my blog? You get to make the choice how you want to consume my content. And then all my social handles, everything is there. I really, really hope that I connect with somebody. Please let me know that you saw me or heard me on Reem's podcast. That would really mean a lot, because then I know we're touching more and more people. My plan is to touch as many people as I possibly can in this world, and hopefully get them to move the needle, like even this much in their life, just a little bit. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm really just trying to move the needle in people's life to kind of get out of their own way. I feel like most people are just in their own way, and if I can help in slightly moving the needle in that, I know I did a good job.
Love it. Guys, the one and only Jas Takhar, thank you so much for being in the Entrepreneur Accelerator, and I hope that you'll be doing well. Stay safe, and talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening. If you liked today's episode, would you please take a minute to rate and review my show? That would mean the world to me. And let me know if you have any questions in mind or something that you're struggling with, so I can cover in future episodes. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out. Let's accelerate your success together. And remember, success is not an accident. Success is a choice. See you next time.